Hello there, welcome to the show. This is the last one of the year. This is the most absurd video of the year, which is the best of the year, which is just ridiculous. So self-important, so feel free to laugh at the absurdity of the whole thing. I know I am inside as I do it, so but I do one every year, so what the hell. I'm just going to go through the one things I liked. There are a few in the top list that I've not covered in videos because I've seen them recently. So I never had a chance to do videos on them, but that's fine. I'll probably do videos on them next year at some point. But I'll start with the TV shows I like best. Because I watch a lot of TV that's, you know, it's essentially, well, I watch stuff years after it comes out is the best way to put it. So it's rare that I watch anything as it comes out, but there are a few here that I saw when it came out. So there's American Revolution, the Ken Burns documentary, which I covered recently. A video, it's amazing. Highly recommend seeing that if you can. There's Andor Season 2, which was wonderful. It leads up to the Rogue One film. It's really well made. There's a Sarah Silverman post-mortem comedy special that's really worth seeing because it's all about the death of her parents, and it's really well done. And then there's Adolescence, the much revered four-parter that everyone raves about. I understand why. I have not done much on this one. I think I did one video, but it is worth all the attention it's gotten. It's just it's not like it's one of those ones that's like everyone's talking about it, so I don't really need to say much. There's a couple of decent things released this year that I liked, which was Mr. Scorsese, the documentary from Scorsese, which had good bits and bad bits, and Stiller and Mira, which was a Ben Stiller documentary on his parents, which was pretty good. There was good stuff in there, but it was also one of those ones that was because it's about your parents, it's going to be a bit more sentimental, so it wasn't the top level. So that's the TV. There's other TV shows I watched and I loved, like Legion and Tokyo Vice Season 2, which came out a year before, so I never can cover it, but it's great. I never did a video on that one because I did a video on the first season, but check out Season 2, it's really good. Legion's really good, so there's lots of good stuff out there. Now we're going to films. The films, there's about 3 in the worst category, but compared to some films I've seen in the past few years, my worst category is still essentially watchable. They're not, these are what's the worst films, but I've seen far worse in the last few years than these. So it's like, yeah, they're the worst technically, but they would not have made this list in other years. They would have been thought of as disappointments. So Tron Ares, which had one good scene as of escaping from the some soldiers inside the video game, was good, but the rest of it was the script. It was really the script. The script was terrible. Visually, there's nice things, but the script was so stupid. It really kind of got in the way. Fountain of Youth, which again was a script. Guy Ritchie directed this one. Starred John Krasinski and Natalie Portman. They did their jobs. Krasinski was miscast, but he tried to do what he could with enthusiasm. Everyone tried their best, but the script was rubbish. That was basically it. And Mountainhead, which was a film about the tech bros from the guys who did Succession. It was one of those ones that it was shot really quickly and you could tell. It just felt like it wasn't quite ready to go when they shot it. It felt there was all that stuff there, but there's lots of things to get into that was important, but this didn't really deliver. So, but again, in any other year, these would not make this list. It's just because this year there wasn't anything that I saw that was really, really terrible. You know, that's just like, that's where it goes. There's a Weird as Hell category, Unspeakable Beyond the Wall of Sleep, which I've covered in a video. There's some disappointments. Again, some of these I should still happily rewatch at some point. But you know, I just thought that some of them were like, I was looking forward to them and didn't live up to what I wanted. And other ones were genuinely, they didn't live up to the idea they were setting forth in the film. So there's A Working Man, the Statham movie. If you've seen Beekeeper, you're looking forward to that, but it wasn't quite that level. The Life of Chuck, which has some nice moments, but It's kind of disappointing that never really came together. Same with Weapons. The Weapons didn't really come together for me. A lot everyone else loved it, apparently. I thought it was still a decent film. It was just it never came together for me. So that's why it's a disappointment. It's not like, oh, this is horrible or anything. No, it wasn't. It's just it didn't come together for me. Electric State, which got a lot of hate. I was like, it didn't work, but it wasn't hateful or anything. It's just like people railed on it for some reason because it didn't work for them either. And it was like, oh my god, it cost a lot of money, we have to really hating this. And it's like, no, it wasn't really worth the hate. It was just a film that didn't come together. These happen every year. And a lot of time it is good directors doing them and it just something the project doesn't come together. I mean, that's what happens a lot of these films. It's like you have directors with talent and the films just didn't come together more than anything else. You've got F1, which some people loved. A lot of people I know weren't so keen on it, but most people I knew thought it was good but not great. It's kind of disappointing for what you wanted. But still, there's some nice bits in it, so it's not like a really like horrible film. It was disappointing. Your Captain America: Brave New World, again, there was some nice bits in it, but it was kind of really shoddy in storytelling. So you got to the good bits, the bad bits kind of took over. This film is probably the worst in the disappointment list. Actually, I think technically it's the worst film, even though it's some nice bits in it. The Wolfman, the new Wolfman film, which had a nice idea of making it a kind of more medical curse. And it had some good moments, but it over-explained certain things, and it was a bit just... It just felt like it wasn't finished before they started shooting the film. And the good actors doing it, but it was just feeling of... It needed another draft just to clean it up and get it ready for production. It just never quite got that. But there were some nice bits in it. Eddington annoyed the hell out of me because it was like a 2.5 hour film and it should have been 90 minutes. But again, the performances were good. It was shot nicely. It was just the script. The script was just like not there. It needed like work before you started shooting. It just felt like, and this film was in development for years, so it might have been overdeveloped into something that was too big and too like. You'd 3 scenes, but one would do every time. So that's the kind of situation there, really. So, but you had like some enjoyable films that I'm not going through them all. I've covered bits and bobs over the year and what I've watched recently. So I'll just cover a few that I've watched recently that I haven't done any videos on. There was Sisu Road to Revenge, or Sisu. It was fun. The first half was a bit weaker because there was no real motivation for some of the action. It was just like someone trying to catch someone else. And the second half it got more personal. I thought it got better. The first half was a bit overproduced, but it's still enjoyable. You know, I had a blast with this film, but it just wasn't quite as good as the first one. Now you see me, now you don't. These films are silly. This one was silly. I enjoyed it. Spinal Tap 2, Rob Reynolds just recently passed. I enjoyed that one. The Running Man I've covered, it was disappointing. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these films were good, fun films. They were just, even The Running Man, which I say was disappointing, I still enjoyed it more than once on the disappointing list. But that's my taste. I think I was being nice to it. It probably should have been a disappointing list, but there were some nice scenes in it. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, it's still a kind of a soft box I like to book. Now we go to the, what I call the better level pulp. These are the films that I couldn't say the best of the year, but I really enjoyed them because I thought this year was a good year. Now, there's some films I didn't see this year, but this year I actually had a good time generally. Some years you're really struggling to find 10 you really liked. That wasn't a problem this year. And there's some films here even that some people had some problems with that I liked, so it's like, well, I don't care, I liked them. So that's just the way I go with it. So the top level pulp, or that kind of thing, I'd say Havoc, which I really enjoyed. For the director of The Raid and Raid 2, Gareth Evans. Some people had problems with it, and the plot was a little bit weak in the first half, but then the action came and it really delivered. I think this is one that will be viewed a lot kinder in the coming years. I think at the moment it's just got this thing, is like everyone wanted the Raid 3 and that wasn't it. So your Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I really enjoyed this film. I saw it twice in cinema. I think it was a really enjoyable film. Yes, it's too long, but it still delivered. It really did deliver, and I think if you know, if you like these kind of films, it really delivered for you. So it's, or at least for me, it delivered. But I really enjoyed it. The Ballerina, which I really enjoyed, it has a weaker first half of the film. The second half is much better. The first half is a bit clunky because of reshoots. Second half there's much more confidence in what they're doing, and there's so much. The fights are more brutal, and everything's more streamlined. It's like you get rid of the annoying plot development stuff, and now you're just into the action. I had a blast with this film. It was so enjoyable. Thunderbolts, the best Marvel film of the year by a mile. Very enjoyable. I've covered it in the past, so I'm not going to go into details, but it's a one Marvel film that you should see. Played dirty, the Shane Black Parker movie, which did not get good reviews, but I think it'll be looked upon better in the future. Sort of like Havoc. It kind of was like, everyone expected so much from the director, and it wasn't quite what they wanted, so it was like, this doesn't work. I think it did, actually. And even did Mark Wahlberg as Parker, who is not an actor I'm particularly keen on, but I think he worked in this part. You had Ick, which was the Brandon Routh movie, and from the director of Torque. It was very enjoyable. It's a bit slapdash in some of its plotting, but it's still an enjoyable monster movie. It's one of the best monster movies this year, so I'd highly recommend it. If you like a kind of low budget, character-based monster movie, sort of like Tremors, things like that, you'll probably have some fun with this one. Lilo and Stitch remake, live action. I usually hate these live action stuff, but this one actually worked. And I've seen the original so many times that it's like insane. You've got Predator Badlands and Predator Killer of Killers. Both of these were very enjoyable. They weren't top level, but they were fun pulp Predator movies, which I had a good time with. They were fairly modest in their ambitions, and that's good sometimes. You're just doing something that's fun. You had Abraham's Boys, which I've covered, which is a nice little low-budget horror movie. Dracula Love Tale, another Dracula variant that worked very nicely. It was a look best on weirdo Dracula movie. You know, it's just as strange as it sounds. It's just weird. But I had a lot of fun with it. Because some of the stuff you can't believe you're seeing. There's Jurassic World Rebirth, which got some sniffy reviews, but it made a fortune. And when I saw it, not just I saw it with, we're really enjoying it. I think it's one of those ones that people are sniffy about because of the last film, Dominion. But this itself is a fun movie. It's just an enjoyable dinosaur movie. Toxic Avenger 2025, another one that's enjoyable, silly, but very enjoyable. And Diablo, which is the Scott Adkins movie, which Marco Zorro. This is a fun movie. The plot's not great. The plot's kind of sticky, but it doesn't matter because it's still a fun movie. The action's terrific, and it's in and out for like 90 minutes. It works. You know, you just have to look beyond certain flaws in it, and it's fine. So we're now going to the terrific ones that's never made my top 10, top whatever list. It's not 10, it's 15. But these are still films I really enjoyed. There was Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out film, very well done. Good Fortune, the Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, Aziz Ansari film, very enjoyable. Again, I get some stiffy reviews. I think it'll be looked upon better in the future. There's Sinners, which everyone raved about. I really like this film. I just like other films more. So, but it's a really good film. Yes, it riffs on From Dusk Till Dawn, but it's actually a better film than From Dusk Till Dawn. So that's the big difference that some people kind of don't take into account. House of Dynamite, the Catherine Bigelow film about the nuclear war, it's terrific. Again, it never quite made the top of my favourites this year, but it's still a film I'll rewatch. And again, it's one of those ones I think might actually come up in my estimation as I go. There's Old Canada, the Paul Schrader film, which I thought was terrific. But I've only seen it recently and I'm not quite sure. I think I need to rewatch to see how high it goes because it's a recent watch. And quite a few of these films in the terrific list were like films I watched. I've only seen one and it was recently, and it's like, well, they're still fresh in my head, so I don't know quite, I haven't given them any time. So some of them kind of, unless you just jump out, it's great. because some of these films, it does take a viewing or two before you kind of click into how good something is. Because the film I'll get to that I really liked the first time round, but I really, really liked the second time round. So it just depends. There's A Long Walk, another recent viewing that is a terrific little film. It's much better than The Running Man. It just works. And it's a good adaptation of the book it was based on. There's Baby Assassin's Nice Day, which is a new Baby Assassins film. It's terrific. It's one of those wonders, like, if my top list wasn't so very packed, that would have probably made it. That's with Ghost Killer, which I really adored, which is from some of the same people as Baby Assassins movies, with the same lead actress. It's really, really enjoyable. Again, it has a few kind of plotting problems, but not as much as some of the other films I mentioned, and it just delivers the character stuff and the action. There's Caught Stealing, new Darren Aronofsky film, which I thought was just really fun. I had a great time with this one. There's Black Bag, the Steven Soderbergh film. 1 out of 2 of these films in this list and this category. Another one makes the top. It's really well done. I just like the other one better. Freaky Tales, which basically came out on. It had a basic cinema release somewhere, and it came out on Amazon. I saw it there. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice surprise because I wasn't expecting much, because it was just like this kind of Pulp Fiction structure of different stories interacting, but it was his own personality as soon as you go beyond that, and it did his own thing, and it was really enjoyable. It had a kind of influence of Repo Man, even though the Pulp Fiction structural influence was there. It was also like an anthology film, like Creepshow, in the same. It felt as influenced by Creepshow as it did by Pulp Fiction, which is what I liked. So it wasn't just one thing, it was just like this kind of 80s, 90s culture, 80s, 90s film. So next you have The Monkey, which is Oz Perkins' film. Another 1 of 2. Another one makes the top one. It's a great fun, ridiculous film. With Warfare, the Alex Garland co-directed film, which was good. Not as good as another film on the list that he wrote, and not as good as Civil War, which he did the year before, but still a very good film. You have The Lost Boss, the Paul Greengrass film. There's got another one of the mediocre reviews that I actually really liked, because everyone said, the first half's a bit slow and then you get the second half. You need the build up. And I really enjoyed the build up and the later stuff. So that's it's highly recommended if you like a kind of intense experience. It's one I'd definitely say try and watch on as big a screen as possible, with the loudest possible speakers. Finally, A Naked Gun, which is just wonderful. I rewatched this a few days ago, and it still holds up as just so funny. So that's just wonderful. So now we're getting to my top list. Basically, this is my top something films. In a sense, is like I just listed them and I never bothered going for 10. I just went beyond 10 because I think that's a case of being honest. Certain years you've got like 6. Another years you've got way more than 10. You might as well just admit that and not bother with these kind of boring limitations. These are all films I adored that I'll happily rewatch anytime. And even quite a few of the ones I've listed below I'd happily rewatch. So to me, this is a good year for films I'd like to rewatch quite a lot. So it's not always that way. But mostly it's not that way. But this year it is. So I'm quite happy this year. So we have Presence, the Soderbergh ghost story film. I've done a video on this. It's wonderful. Highly recommended. Do not know anything about it before you go into it. You have to have patience, but everything pays off. I mean, Black Bag I adored, but this one really impressed me, so I thought I'd better just stick to one Soderbergh film in the top list. So I went with Presence. You have Creation of the Gods 2, which is available in America. It's not available in Britain yet, but it's easy enough to buy, to get in. So the Baby Assassins and Ghost Killer the same way. Creation of the God is wonderful. It's a sequel to Creation of the God. Well, Creation of the Gods 2 is wonderful. It's a sequel to the first Creation of the God. I like the sequel more. The sequel is actually better than the original. It's based on the old Chinese myth The first one's a lot of setup, and the second one you can just start going and going to excess. So it's wonderfully insane, and it doesn't care about being respectable, which I liked. And it was just all out melodrama, so it was great fun. Now we have Flow, which is the story of the cat going through the post-apocalypse, the kind of flood. It's just wonderful. It's hard to explain why. Just that it's an animated film that is beautiful, and it's about animals surviving a catastrophe, and that's it's an experience, and you can't really explain it beyond. It's an experience. Just go watch it. Again, I'm trying to see it on a big screen because you really get more from it. The Smashing Machine, which I did not have much hope for when I first saw the trailers are awful. The trailers in this film were like kind of like putting people off when to see the film. So it's like it's like, I don't know what they were thinking with those trailers. They just looked wrong. So, but the film itself is great. It's based on a documentary that John Hyams made years ago. The documentary is even better. It's really good. Go watch it. Yes, Dwayne Johnson actually acts in the film. It's amazing. He actually can act. It's like, what have you been doing for this past 20 years? Right. So, next we have Keeper, which is the Oz Perkins film that not many people liked, apart from me, it seems. Even Oz Perkins fans thought this was underwhelming. I adored it. I just thought it was amazing. I've not done a video on it because I saw it last week. I think it's just wonderful. It just is a lovely film and character based and low budget and weird. And it's a kind of weird horror film I like, which is kind of based on kind of myths in the backwoods area, which I adore, that kind of stuff. And I thought it was really well done. And it's kind of a fairy story hidden with the facade of a horror movie. But yeah, it's really good. I think it's one of the ones that will become much more loved in the future. With A Real Pain, the Jesse Eisenberg film, Kevin Costner won the Oscar for. It's really excellent. I put off watching this. I bought it earlier in the year on streaming, and then never watched it. And was like, I'm gonna have to watch this at some point. It's because it's one of those respectable Oscar films, and you're like. Then I watched it because it's only 90 minutes. I watched it. I was like, this is amazing. It did deserve all the attention. Because most of the time in Oscar films, they really don't. It's a real problem with them. Now we have Avatar: Fire and Ash, which I've just seen. It's wonderful. Again, the dialogue is not amazing. It's James Cameron. He's not the best at dialogue, but the world he creates, the sense of increased melodrama as things get out of control, all of that worked for me. It very much feels like a silent movie, and the way it's done and kind of naivety it's got, and it's like, yeah, it explains its themes directly to you, but then it tries to do interesting things with them. I think it's been hammered a lot, but some critics are sick of these Avatar movies and they're sick of James Cameron, which I think is undeserved because these are ambitious movies. I think there's a lot of snark involved by some people who are just trying to prove they're hip. I don't think it deserves this attention, but it's done well so far. So they're going to have to snark for another one in a couple of years. I think the Avatar movies they're more popular with people and not so popular with the critics. The critics think they represent the people and they don't. And this is like the biggest thing is they can't embrace popular films that they don't quite understand why they're popular, or they think it's too obvious, and they just have a hard time with that. Okay, next is 28 Years Later. A film that I was not having high expectations of going into it, mainly because it's a much later sequel and it could go either way. Even though the trailers were good, sometimes that means they're hiding a bad film, but this one really worked. This one really delivered. It's a beautiful story about death and dealing with death and dealing with how do you deal with an apocalypse, how do you deal with mass death or personal death. So it's one of Danny Boyle's best films. I placed this up with Sunshine, which is another one that Alex Garland wrote. It was two of his best films. It's just beautiful. Superman is next, a James Gunn film. Again, lovely film, very naive, very intentionally naive. It's a popular film. It's a film for the masses. It's an optimistic film in these terribly depressing times. He did an optimistic film. And I think that really struck a chord. So came out, did well. I think it's done really well once it's hit home video as well, because I think people really attach to the character. So I think this is one of those ones that are, when you get to the sequel, it's going to grow even more, because there's a lot of appreciation for this character that really worked in a way that Marvel hasn't really managed to do for a long time. This one really kind of hooked people's emotions. Next we have Bugonia, which is another film by a director who is usually well loved, but this one he got some harsher reviews for Bugonia with some of his fans. I adored Bugonia. I'm not a big fan of Lanthimos. I think he's a good director, but I'm not like, if you look at Saoirse Ronan, he's a massive fan of Lanthimos. I'm not. I just think he's a good director. But this one I really liked. This one I really adored. I thought it had a nice mix of cynicism with the modern world, but also nice bit of silliness as well within it. It's based on Save the Green Planet, which I've not seen, so I'm sure some people who don't like it are attached in what they liked with that film. But I've not seen it. I hope to see it soon. I thought I owned it. I didn't own it. Or if I did, I've lost it. But I'm sure I'll see it soon when it's released in Blu-ray next year. Next we have Cloud, the Kurosawa film. Which is a video on that one that no one watched. It's a wonderful film. Go watch it. Do not know anything about it before you go into it. Just go watch it. Don't have any spoilers for it, so I won't say anything. The Phoenician Scheme, Wes Anderson film. I've seen this twice now. Saw it in the cinema and I saw it recently projected back there. It's wonderful. It just delivers. It's fun even for the second time around. It just is deadpan. After his last one, the Alien one, which I didn't think was very good, it was quite nice to see him return to form, because this one just felt so confident. Another one I recently rewatched is Mickey 17, which I adored in the cinema and I like even more now. I think this is just a beautiful film and did not get the love that it deserved for me. It did not do that well. I think basically because the lead character is pretty stupid. I don't think some audiences really attached themselves to that, and they were like, we were meant to follow this guy, he's so dumb. But yep, you are. It's a wonderful film. You know, just delightful. It has some social satire, but it also has I think people jumped in Trump thing more than, this is the way people act. This is like a satire on how people act. If they're going to another alien planet, they're going to cause havoc by being stupid. Next, another mad scientist movie is Frankenstein, the Del Toro movie, which I adored. It's based, they're trying to make it back to the original a lot more, but still a Del Toro film. Certain things in the original are adapted to what he wants for his version of the film, because he knows basically, like, you can't be completely faithful. You're still going to do your own version of something. And this one is a delight. So I'd highly recommend watching it if you've got Netflix, because it really is wonderful. But again, you have to try and watch it on the biggest screen as possible. Netflix barely released this film in the cinemas. I never saw it. I had to project it to get a good viewing of it. But it was wonderful. Now we have Die My Love, which is a new Lynn Ramsey film, which I saw recently, so I haven't done a video on it. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's about a couple dealing with the mental illness of the wife. She's got like she's a depression after the baby's born, but there's also suggestions she might have other things wrong with her, but it's just been made worse by the baby. And it's just moving from the city to the country life and having nothing to do with her time, which is her own thoughts. And it's a delightful film, and how it doesn't care about offending you. That's why it's delightful, because it's like it just does not give a damn if you're offended by anything she does. And because the director's Scottish, and I recognise so much of the behaviour is very Scottish, even though it's set in the South America, or the deep south of United States of America. There's so much of the interactions that feel very Scottish to me. And especially the thing is, someone asks you if you're feeling alright and you're almost offended by it. How dare you ask me that? I'll tell you I'm feeling bad because you'll know because I'll be slobbering in the corner somewhere. That's the only time I'm going to admit it. Right, next it was just an accident. The Palme d'Or winner, which again I saw recently, is wonderful. It's about it's set in Iran. It's about some people who've been tortured in the past, finding out who they torture, where the torturer lives, and it's like, what do they do with him? Do they kill him? Do they let him go? Because they kidnap him? It's actually a really funny film. It's also very thought provoking. And it's one of those films that get lots of layers. So you've got the plot on the surface, but you've got lots of things on below the surface you can recognise, and it's not going for easy irony. It's going for a kind of more a nuanced take on the subject of forgiveness and how horrible the world actually can be, and how do you navigate your own morality within a world that's not fair. It's just a really beautiful film. Next is One Battle After Another, which is the Paul Thomas Anderson film starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro, who's also in Phoenician Scheme. So yeah, he's got 2 films in this list, fairly high up. You know, it's wonderful. I did a video on it in the past. It's just a great experience. I've not rewatched it yet. I'm waiting for the 4K disc. It is just wonderful. It's an experience. Again, just go to my video. I'm not going to go into tons of details here. Next is Nosferatu, which I think technically was released last year in America, but we got it in January, so it's a film for this year. If you're a normal British person who didn't go to any festivals, so I didn't have a chance to see it till this year, so I'm considered this year's film, and it is wonderful. I adore the original Nosferatu. I adore the Herzog remake. I adore this one. This is its own thing. It is not trying to be the original or the remake. It's trying to be a version of this story that's got its own obsessions. Robert Eggers directed it, wrote it, developed it for years. Terrific performances, terrific sense of doom. This is just wonderful. I should say that Nosferatu, One Battle After Another, It's Just an Accident, Die My Love, they're all kind of equal footing for me, essentially. I mean, they're all kind of top level. There's no real kind of list, and even most of the other films below that are kind of similar level. But from Die My Love up, those 4 kind of are a bit higher. But the highest, my film of the year, the most absurd thing ever, is The Shrouds. It's the most absurd thing ever because it takes a look at grief and how we cope with grief and how absurd it can be and how stupid we can be and how insane we can be and how we try to find meaning in ways that are reasonable and ways that are not reasonable. It's Cronenberg's film. It got bad responses when it played in Cannes last year, and eventually it's creeped out this year. Now people have seen it, it's like, this is actually quite good. What the hell are they talking about? I adored it. I think it's just a wonderful film. Cronenberg, with this and Crimes of the Future, has been doing amazing stuff since he's come back to filmmaking after... He took time off after his wife died, and now he's coming back, and he's kind of like Schrader, the late artist who he just does his films, and you like them or you don't. He doesn't seem to give a crap anymore. And see, I've been into Cronenberg stuff since the start, but I've really liked his stuff in the kind of 2010s, where he was doing Cosmopolis and Map to the Stars and things, are just these weird, absurdist looks at life that have a dark sense of humour that some people don't know how to deal with, because it's like you're meant to take life seriously, and he takes it serious but also takes it as something completely absurd. I think this is a third phase in his career. The first phase was body horror up to about The Fly, then from like Dead Ringers to the one he did about Freud feels like another era where it was much more like existential angst, is the way I describe it. And now this is like a existential absurdity era he's got going on that I adore as well. So I'm into all three eras of Cronenberg. This one was just wonderful. I'm looking forward to rewatching it. It's just great. So those are my films of the year. Again, this is an absurd list. Films of the year is an absurd thing, but I thought I would play into the absurdity and do one, because why not? So I hope you enjoyed this. That's me for the year. You'll catch me probably late January because I'm lazy as hell when it comes to coming back to make videos after Christmas. And in January I tend to just watch like B movies and think I'll make a video soon. I'm too busy watching an Italian genre movie or something. That's what I tend to do in January. It's like I can't be bothered. So it's too cold outside to actually do anything. So call it late January before you'll see me again. So I hope you enjoyed this. That's me for now. Bye.